Blitzer beetle of all things. Although this one's basically made of a hodgepodge of broken parts that I threw together because this was just a chassis, front bulkhead, and transmission when I found it. But I had enough parts that basically I've reconstructed it with a suspension with no A-arms. However, as I mentioned, it's made of just basically spares I had laying around, and to basically see what I could come up with, since I literally just have the cost of buying the chassis, bulkheads, and transmission, as I previously mentioned, where this thing was just a basket case of what was there. I'll go grab the camera and we can take a look at this closer. Anyways, here, let me grab that. But like I said, bumper's broken, another part. But as we can see, suspension is there. Like I said, this thing's made out of spares, so nothing's perfect, like the body even, it's cracked and stuff. But as we can pop the body off, we basically pull a pin here, push on the side here, and push on the other side. I will say, this suspension, as bad as I'm getting a shot of it, I have ran this many times with a giant, well, it's a Novak 5.5 with a 5500 milliamp battery that does I believe a 30C burst, or you know what I'm saying, if you're into lipos and using them all and that stuff for these RCs. But it's just a hodgepodge of parts of even electronics and that like Futaba Spectrum styles or receiver and so forth. But anyways, let's go get to it. Going from here, just Super Brat, knuckles and stuff, some frog parts here and here and here, and then just random links and stuff. And as I can show, basically suspension settled from not using it in a while, but these are just old Kyosho Pegasus shocks, I think, because once again, it's where I'm getting these parts from, just random spares. And I had to flip the servo saver upright, that way it actually corrected how I say the geometry of it, so I didn't have tons of bumps here. Same thing over here, and if we can just get a side shot of it, you can start to see this link ties into this link for the upper A-arm, same for this link and the lower link here that tie into the lower A-arm, which also is our shock mount, as this is just triangling this. And if we can get a good shot there, I just have a threaded ball end that I have Loctite on with a screw, and it runs through this Tamiya knuckle with these old tires I've got sitting on it. Of course, I crudely converted a old Futaba wire into using a modern, basically Futaba end. Then with this, it's a very crude, how you would say, swing arm suspension, like a Lucy J or Junior T and so forth, where we basically have got the link here going back to this knuckle to the dog bone with the upper A-arm mount. My camera's not focusing. Hold on a second. It's not going to focus. That's just great. Anyways, we've basically got the link here running to the rear knuckle, which ties into this rear knuckle, and then ties into the lower A-arm mount that used to be, and the camera finally focuses by now. That's just great. I made a crude adapter to run these old style Tamiya tires with, I believe is trolley tires, something Proline, either way. But the suspension in the back works pretty good. Also, a reason why I did the shock mounts like this was I had no shock tower. I just had the front shock tower because it was a basket case. But anyways, we're going to get one shot of the upside down view of this thing. And anyways, I was starting to remove the electronics because I got to sell this thing because I'm moving, which why the videos and all that stuff are popping up. But anyways, hope you guys have a good time and hope this helps you guys rebuild or do whatever you want with your Blitzer beetles.